Not sure who is hanging out with us today, so I'm going to make sure we are pinned to the top of the group. I don't know if Taylor's with me today or not. Let's see. Uh-oh. Taylor is having some technical difficulties. Oh, here I am. So I am going to pin this to the top. Hello, hello. If you guys are in the events, let me make sure. Well, you could see me here too, so that works. There you have it. Hello, everyone. Are you guys excited for this class? I'm going to see if anybody's chatting with me. Hi, Brittany. How are you? So this was a total impromptu workshop. So let's see. Taylor is having some problems getting people in, making sure everyone is in the group. So if you're having a hard time, if you're in the YouTube studio, sorry if you can't chat with us. Hi, Dale-Ann and Leanne. Hello. Hi, Brianna. How are you guys? I am so excited about this class. So because this was a totally last minute workshop, I am going to send you guys a replay that you can watch. And that way you can watch it. It'll be available for about 24 hours. So we'll have that ready in the next couple hours. I'll send it out to you and you can have it for about a day. Hi, Ashley and Jenna. How are you feeling, Jenna? I'm assuming we're still pregnant, which is good. It's fine. You just needed to see this workshop, girl. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started because I have a feeling this might go a little longer. Hi, whoever you are. I hate when I can't see your names. Hello, hello. I'm getting lots of heart eyes, so that's good. I am drinking tea in my water bottle. It's probably a bad idea. Very watered down tea. I've been drinking so much water. I stopped drinking sodas a couple months ago. Oh, goodness, Jenna, I have not been in the labor bat signal today. I got to do that in just a little bit because I've been preparing this workshop for you guys. Dale-Ann is 34 weeks today. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to talk about 5 mindset strategies to use to have an unmedicated birth. And I am going to keep my eyes on the screen and not the chat room. I will take a little bit afterwards to answer your questions. I have just a little bit because, again, this was an unscheduled workshop. So I am going to take some time after to answer your questions, but not a ton of time. Okay, so why me if you guys have not been here for the entire Fearless Birth experience? We don't normally do workshops after Fearless Birth experience, but I was feeling a little bit generous because I went in and I was reading a bunch of your posts and your questions during the workshop, and I realized like a huge amount of you guys are planning unmedicated, which I love. I did 6 unmedicated births myself. I've been a labor and delivery nurse for a long time, and I'm very passionate about unmedicated birth. So we're going to talk about that today. So let's just literally dive right in. So you guys know that I've been every day a Fearless Birth experience. We've been talking about birth mistakes and commitments and all that fun stuff. So I'm assuming, I'm going to make an assumption. You know what they say about people who make assumptions? Well, I'm hoping that's not the case here, but I'm going to make an assumption that if you're planning an unmedicated birth, you are not going to wing it, that you are 100% going to educate yourself. So what I'm going to say today is that I want you to commit to changing your mindset so that you can commit to your unmedicated birth. So I want you guys right now to say, I commit my mindset towards my unmedicated birth. So commit 100% to changing your mindset. So say, I commit, because your mindset is everything when it comes to birth in general. But when it comes to unmedicated birth, you guys, you have to be committed. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So say, I commit. You have to be educated to be able to have the right mindset. So if you guys haven't hopped into our birth classes, if you haven't taken a birth class, I hope by the end of this workshop, you're going to know how freaking important that is to take a birth class. I hope it's mine, but you have to take a birth class, just 100%. And I know a lot of my girls are on here. So, okay, let's go on. And you should have your worksheets. So you have to have it, right? I commit. All right, I want you guys to soak this in. Where my mind leads, my body follows. I want you guys to think about this no matter what it is, right? Let's just say you start getting stressed out. I want you really to think about this because I've been under a lot of stress lately. If you're really stressed out and your mind starts thinking about those donuts in your kitchen, what happens, right? You're off to get the donuts. Or you start getting stressed out and you're like, I'm going to go get on my walking pad. That's for Taylor, your treadmill, and your body follows. So when it comes to birth, it's the same thing. Where your mind leads, your body follows. So these tips I'm going to give you today, I want it to lead your body. So your mindset leads your body. So if you leave me right now, and you don't stick around, I want you to remember what is happening up here affects your birth. Okay? Your mind affects your birth. So, women who succeed at unmedicated birth believe these things. That birth is a natural process. It's not something that has to happen in the hospital. It's not a medical thing. Birth is not a hospital thing. Birth can happen at home. Birth can happen in a birth center. Birth can happen anywhere. You don't need me unless you need me. Birth is a natural process. Women who succeed at unmedicated birth believe that their body was made to birth this baby. Women who succeed at unmedicated birth believe that having educated support people around them is super important. They know they can't do it alone. Women who succeed at unmedicated birth believe they have a right to birth how they want, and they're not afraid to speak up. They know they have to, even if they're normally like super quiet and timid. In birth, they find their birth queen because they are a birth queen. And women who succeed at unmedicated birth do not wing their birth. They don't just go in and do it unless it's accidental. That does happen. But they know what to expect. They know when to expect it. They know how to work through it. They know what's happening inside of their freaking body, and they know how to work with it. And they know what will help them succeed because they have tools. Am I silent? Okay, just making sure. One of you guys who has my phone number, if something happens, text me. Ashley, Taylor, one of you guys let me know if there's a problem with sound. So women who succeed at birth know it's a natural process, know their body was designed to do it. They know they have to have a good support person, not just Joe Blow coming in the room just to sit on the couch. They know they have a right to birth how they want to do it. They know they can speak up if they need to, and they know what to expect and what to do when. Those are important factors. Are you ready? Are you ready for your birth? I don't care if you're 8 weeks pregnant or 41 weeks pregnant. Are you really ready? That is important. Ask yourself that. Really ask yourself in your soul. Are you supported? We want to support you. Know that for a fact. Okay. Birth strategy number 1, your mindset strategy number 1, set your birth grit. Grit is like that thing, that thing that makes you dig in, bite down and hold on like a pit bull, right? You're going to do it. Birth grit is so stinking important. Birth grit is like, when I tell you guys that birth grit is like you're a marathon runner, you're an athlete. There is not any athlete anywhere who trains for a big athletic event who says, I've been training for 40 weeks to do this marathon. I'm going to try. But, if I don't finish the marathon, it's okay. Maybe not. No, they have got grit. They decide they're going to do it. They've got courage and they've got resolve. So I want you guys, if you want to have an unmedicated birth, no more of this wishy-washy, maybe I'm going to try. I want you to just say, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have an unmedicated birth. So from here on out, all week, I want you for 7 days, if you have 7 days, Jenna, you don't, rest of today. I want you to, for 7 days, to say, I'm going unmedicated. I'm having an unmedicated birth. I want you to say it and believe it. It takes mental courage, because I know, like, inside of us, we're like, well, what if I fail? What will people think of me? I can't say it out loud, because what if? Get rid of the what ifs. Take them out, throw them away. If you join my birth classes, you're going to get used to this. Take it out, throw it away, right in the trash can. Have a plan. We've already talked about this, a conscientious plan. You're not winging it. Oh, look, someone said perfect. She's due next week. So you got it. You're doing it. Perseverance matters. Keep your eye on the goal. I told you guys last week, we know our why. Resilience matters. Here's the thing. During your birth, when those detours happen, it's okay. Who cares? It's fluid. Recover. If you find out you're having an unmedicated birth and you didn't want to have an IV, but you find out that you're GBS positive and you're gonna get antibiotics, so what? Recover quickly. Reframe. Retrain. You've got your plan. It's okay. And be passionate about your body. You have a super amazing body that built a freaking human, like an actual real human being that's going to grow up and be a parent too, or be a productive human being, hopefully, right? You do your job well. Be passionate about your body. So when you have a detour, recover, reframe. It's fine. So I have to have an IV now. That's all right. I was going to have a home birth. Now I have to have a hospital birth. It's all right. No more what ifs. It's okay. There is a power that comes to women when they give birth. They don't ask for it. It simply invades them. It accumulates like clouds on the horizon, passes through them, and carries the child with it. And that's Cheryl Feldman. I love that. This is Liz. I love Liz's story. And Liz is still so involved in our community. Her baby's a year old. But she said, I was looking for something else. This was baby number 2. She wanted something different. And I wanted to be in control of my labor and delivery, at least as much as you can be, and be educated so that I knew things to look for, knew what to avoid, and when to say yes and when I should say no. And that's what I wanted. Calm Labor, Confident Birth taught me so much. I knew that I wanted to be in control of things. And I knew that I wanted to have an unmedicated birth this time. I thought that would give me the best chance of having that control. I'm type A. I want to have everything all lined up, and your class and support help me learn these are the stages of labor. So I know what's happening to me, when it's happening, and what I can try to get in a good position and get comfortable and get through the pain. What I love about Liz's story is Liz never even got into the labor bed. Do you guys see that? She delivered on the floor, and her team just went with it because Liz knew what she wanted. She knew how she wanted to do it, and she wasn't afraid to speak up. She just did her thing. And she had a beautiful birth. And that picture of Liz is one of my most favorite birth pictures ever. Look at that look on her face. Love it so much. Okay. The next tip I have for you for your mindset is to set your birth boundaries. Now I'm going to go back on the big camera here. I taught the girls, the VIPs. Wow, my hair is a hot mess today. I taught the girls on the VIP hangout with my students the other night. We do something pretty powerful in our group with our girls. We do this whole thing about provider communication. And I teach my students and my members how to set birth boundaries. So I'm going to give you just a little bit. One of the things I do is we do something that's visual. So you're going to start setting up boundaries around what you let in and around you. So if you're having an unmedicated birth, you got to stop the horror stories. You got to stop the scariness. Stop watching the scary TikToks. Stop watching the scary reels, the YouTube videos, all of that crap. No more. Trish said no more. Okay? No more. So instead of just saying, you're going to put your hand up. So I want you right now, put your hand up and say, thank you so much for sharing your story. So you're going to put your hand up, and that's going to tell them stop. That's a universal sign. We're having a baby sign language class tonight in our membership for our mamas to learn how to teach their baby to be, or their baby that they have now, some baby sign language. Well, this is a mama sign language, and this will you can utilize for the rest of your life. Stop. Shut up. Stop telling me your terrible birth story, because I don't know if you went into your birth educated. I don't know if you had support. I don't know if you knew what you were doing. I don't know anything but the scary thing you're telling me right now, and I don't need to hear it. So stop. You're not going to say all that. All you're going to do is put your hand up and say, oh, thank you so much for sharing, but I'd really love to hear this after my baby comes, and then we can tell each other our stories. But I've made a decision that I'm waiting until the baby comes before I hear birth stories. But thank you. And you're going to set up your boundaries, because you're not going to let those horror things in anymore. Set up your birth boundaries. So your birth boundaries are going to look like what and who is allowed in. When it comes to an unmedicated birth, you have to protect your space. What stories, what movies, what people, and you're going to set high freaking expectations on who is allowed into your space, what comments are allowed into your space. So if you have someone who is saying things like, why would you go unmedicated? You don't have to be a hero. What are you trying to prove? That shit, that stuff is not allowed. It is not allowed. And I don't know why people, from the minute you get pregnant, people think that they can say these things. Like, it's not, I mean, if you had something else major going on in your life, like you were sick with something, if you had cancer with something, everybody's going to tell you all the positive things, not the horror stories. But when you're pregnant or you're having a baby, they want to tell you all the scariest stuff possible instead of building you up and getting you all bolstered up. They want to scare you, and I don't know why. So set high expectations and don't allow it in. No more. Put your hand up, say stop. Protect your space. Your space is so important. And I would just tell them, just say, hey, like, build them up a little. Say, hey, I'm so appreciative of you, and thank you so much for wanting to tell your story. But I really would like to wait until my baby comes, and then we can share our stories with each other. I know, and Taylor and Lene and my team, and I know a lot of my students were able to hear the spots in these horror stories where things could have been changed. And even I told you guys a module in both of my birth classes that we have is our birth debrief, or the birth breakdown, where we are able to help you walk through your pre-labor nurse mama birth story and break down the spots where things could have been changed, where education and different decisions, where maybe your hospital or your provider failed you. And that's the case with some of these horror stories. It's unfortunate, but they might have, their providers may have failed them and they don't even know it. They just think that's how birth is. Enough of that. Let's get ready for your birth. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the power punch, which is training your brain. Training your brain is so darn important. I have done so much research on this in the last couple of years because this is probably the most powerful thing you can do. And everything we're learning today is about this, is about training your brain. So the most important thing that you guys can do when it comes to your brain is inner positivity. So I want you to fake it till you make it. I want you to constantly flip the script. So I know you guys, I've been there, I've done it. I know when you start waking up and you're like, hey, and all those fears are flying through your brain. I want you to stop them, halt them. So if you got to put your hand up to yourself, right? You're going to flip those fears into truth and into positivity. So instead of saying things like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? What if I lose control? What if I start freaking out? What if I can't do it? What if I want to ask for an epidural? What if I need some IV medication? What if I don't get to the hospital in time? What if I don't know when to go to the hospital? What if I don't know what's happening? What if it hurts too bad? What if? No more of those what ifs. You're going to start flipping them. You're going to stop them. And when you start going down that path, you're going to turn them into powerful I am statements. And on your sheet 2, you've got some spaces. Some spaces for that. I am powerful. I am capable. I am building a human. I am strong. I am able to birth this baby. I am made to birth this baby. I am going to birth this baby. I am going to push like a freaking champ. I am going to labor with self-control. I am going to labor with breathing techniques. I am going to know the positions to labor powerfully. I am statements are what you're going to do from here on out. So my mama who's due in 7 days, even if you go to 42 weeks, girl, you're going to flip them into I am statements. No more of this what if, no more of this negativity that we lay on ourselves. Remember how powerful you are, because what you tell yourself matters. We can actually manifest what we think. If you're constantly thinking that you're not going to be able to do it, guess what? You might not be able to do it. If you're constantly thinking that you might not and you might end up getting the epidural, chances are high you might end up getting that epidural. We can manifest what we are telling ourselves. Now, it is equally as important that you're educated and that you prepare your body. That's super important. So I want you to start thinking about some things like meditation. Learn how to still yourself. One of the things that I teach in my classes is focused relaxation, and we walk through your parts of your body, learning how to relax your body. So during labor, if you happen to agree to a cervical exam, I teach you how to relax, do focused relaxation so it's easier. The breathing techniques, I taught you guys a little bit of that last week, and you saw how powerful that was. I was planning to do some ice tricks today, but my teaching got too long, so I don't know that we'll have time. But you can use those breathing techniques, visualization. For my VIP and my students last week, we did some visualization and some different techniques of bringing ourselves to somewhere that is safe for us. For me, it's the beach. I love the beach. And so I'm able to, when I'm really stressed, I can go to the beach in my head. I lived on the beach. I can feel it in my toes. I can hear it. I can hear the waves. I can hear the seagulls. I can hear the children running. I can hear all those. I know the beach. So where do you go? Where's your safe place? And again, focused relaxation. But flipping that negativity into positivity is so powerful. And if you don't know anything about that, this is something I have so infused into my birth classes because I am so passionate about mindfulness and mindfulness techniques. If birth is 90% mental, then your birth class that you take needs to really focus on that. I mean, think about it. But education is a huge part of that, because if you go in winging it, you're going to lose it. It's not a good plan. So you have to be able to flip all those fears into truth. And yes, you have to relax your jaw. It opens your pelvis. That's proven. You have to have evidence-based facts to be able to flip those fears into truth. You have to know the breathing techniques so that you're not and ending up hyperventilating. I taught you a technique, a super simple technique of breathing last week. Well, did you know that is a technique they use in therapy to help people who have suffered from trauma as well, to be able to relax and actually decrease stress. That's why I told you guys before you go into your prenatal appointment, if you have problems with blood pressure or stress or white coat syndrome, it's an actual proven technique. This was one of my moms I shared with you last week, but I wanted to share again because she had the most beautiful unmedicated delivery. Her name is Nicole. Again, a second-time mom. I have so many students who are with me that aren't first-time moms. And I want you guys to really think about that. They winged their first birth and did not get what they wanted. You only get one chance to birth this baby. You don't want a do-over. You don't want regret. And my students that come to me with their second baby, they don't want to do that again. They're not willing to do that again. They're not willing. They'd rather spend the money on a birth class and be educated and empowered than a Mac Daddy stroller, because they know that birth will never leave them one way or the other. So this is Nicole, and she had the most beautiful birth experience. And I love that look in this picture. It's so beautiful. And she knew her choices and she made empowered decisions. Okay, the next strategy, did I skip one? I feel like I skipped one. Where did I go? Or did I number them wrong? Let's make sure. No, I guess I'm good. Did I skip one, you guys? Where we got? No, I guess not. Okay, just making sure. I get so caught up in this. All right, so the next one is I want you to know what you can control. There are things in your birth you cannot control. And being aware of that gives you power. A lot of times we think, and we're sold this bill of like, well, you can't control birth. So why try? Why are you even worried about it? Why are you making a birth plan? How many of you guys have been told that? Why try? Why try to do it? Birth is out of, like, you can't control birth. It's unpredictable. Raise your hand or give me an emoji if someone's told you that. Yeah, that's the biggest crock of BS. Of course, you're not trying to control the things you can't control, right? That's not what you're setting out to do. This isn't about what you can't control. This is about what you can. This is about us taking back what we can control, like the freedom of movement, the freedom of eating, the positions we want to use when we're laboring and pushing, when we get into the hospital. Yeah, we didn't make birth plans when we had kids back then. Yes, it's about what we can control. It's about knowing what you can control. Whoop, what happened there? Okay, I knew something was wrong. Well, we're going to wing this one, you guys. So, double that. So let's go back to what we can control, since that's out of order. So what can we control? We can control knowing our rights, like what I was just saying. You have a right to move. You have a basic human right to move. You have a right to stay at home and labor as long as possible. I already told you that's one of the most powerful decisions you can make. Now, if you're going to be induced, I have a workshop that I do inside my membership about unmedicated birth in the hospital. This is a little different. And being induced, we have one in the membership as well. So if you do join one of my birth classes, you can eat that workshop up. I've done it 3 times unmedicated in inductions. So you have to figure out what can you control. You can control when you get to the hospital, because you can also control whether or not you get induced if it's elective. Now, if it's a medical reason that's legit, then we can help you navigate that. What else can you control? Positions, knowing laboring positions, education, understanding your body, understanding the interventions, when they're appropriate, when they're not appropriate, knowing how to communicate to your providers, who comes in your labor room, who says what, whose role is what. Yes, your mind. That's right. What you think and what you say to yourself, what you allow others to say to you. You can control if you keep your labor nurse. You have a lot of things that you can control when it comes to birth. The things you can't control are not as many things as you can control. So don't let that lie and that thing that people want to do to you. A lot of times that's just their own issues because their birth was something they didn't enjoy and that was something that wasn't good for them. And a lot of that was because of their lack of education and they're winging it. So know what you can control and then be okay and be ready. Like we said way back, let's go back. Hold on. We're going to go way back. Let me find my slide here. You're going to recover from the detours quickly and you're going to reframe when it comes to things you can't control. You're going to have resilience. That's what makes a difference for the mamas who succeed. You have to know what you can control and you recover quickly. You don't let it throw you. You bounce back. So important. I had all sorts of things happen in my births. All sorts of things, you guys. And I had to bounce back. I had a straight OP. That means my daughter was face up and it was hell. And transition was even worse. But I bounced back. I came back and I recovered and I made it. It was hard. You have to have a filled tool bag. That's up to you, girls. It's up to you what birth classes you take and what tools you put in your bag and who you allow in your room. It's up to you if you let a really nasty labor nurse stay in your labor room and affect your birth story. It's up to you if you let your mother-in-law sit in your room and be rude, because that will mess your mindset up. Absolutely get you off track, and that could affect you from succeeding. So remember, make a list right on the back of this paper I gave you on your worksheet. What can I control? And then start doing what you can about it. It's just so important. Now that we've seen that twice, this is Megan. I showed you guys a little bit about her the other day, and I love her story. And that is actually one of our team doulas in action. A lot of her clients take my birth classes, and they're part of our community, including Megan. And I love Megan's story because she put into practice what she learned in the courses, including the low guttural sound. So if you didn't learn that the other day, you guys, we taught this is one of the tools I was talking about, and it's such a simple, powerful game changer. Don't ask me why, and I would love to know who figured out that making a low guttural sound relaxes your darn pelvic floor, but it does. And knowing that is power. That's in your control. That was in Megan's control. And I love it. She's squatted at the end of the bed. She's making it through transition. She's making her low guttural sounds. She's completely dilated. The nurse wants her to get on the bed and she says, I will, but I'm staying on my hands and knees. She did it her way. And I love this picture because I love she's got the right team, the right knowledge, the right plan, and the right tools, and she succeeded at having her unmedicated birth. That's power, you guys. That's birth grit right there in a picture. Okay, 5. You got to take it all and you got to practice and you got to prepare. You got to practice and prep, practice and prep. So one of the things that I teach my mamas inside of our birth classes, and I told you guys the other day, you get our empowered birth bundle. It's $100 off for a couple more days. One of the classes we throw into the bundle is our purposeful positioning. And inside that, I teach you pregnancy positions to help you with your posture and moving and all the things during pregnancy to get your body ready. Then my favorite laboring positions. So you may think to yourself like, well, I'm just going to move around in labor. There are actual really powerful movements you can do during labor to get the baby in the right alignment, to open, like Taylor taught you guys, to open up the top of your pelvis, to open up the bottom of your pelvis, to move the baby down into the pelvis. All of that matters because remember, I said the baby's head pressing on the cervix is all part of the cycle. And you have to be able to keep that cycle going. And you want to stay on the calm, relaxed cycle, not the fear tension cycle. So we want you practicing some of those movements. Some of the things, I wish I had that other picture of Lene moving with Megan, because there's different things you can do to open up your pelvis, to move your body, to allow your body to just be fluid through labor, to allow the baby to move down and out, which is the goal. So you want to practice those movements, practice the laboring movements. Then, of course, the pushing positions. You need to know those as well. So practice and prep. One of the most important things you can do for your practice and prepping is also creating the scene. So one of my favorite things to teach my girls is I want you to think of all your senses. When you're in labor, your senses matter. So important. And it's like, I don't know if you're one of our VIP mamas or my students on here, we were on the hangout the other night and we were talking about a cat that's Taylor was saying it. She's reading a book about cats in labor or something. And they don't go, they go and they find a quiet, dark space. They don't go out in public with the lights. I call them the lights of God, the delivery lights on their vagina. They find a quiet space and it's protective and it's safe, and they feel a safeness that they can deliver their little one. And that is important for you too. So you know how like if you're walking in the mall or you're walking somewhere and you smell a smell and you're like right back to 8th grade dance, right? It brings you back. So I want you to start creating your safe space with smells and sounds. So create your labor playlist and get your scents, whether it's essential oils or maybe a spray. And that's when you and your birth coach can practice your laboring positions, your pushing positions. Now, don't actually push, don't bear down or anything, but just practice them so it becomes a muscle memory that you're fluid and you have your rhythm. Labor is all about rhythm. It's all about finding your rhythm. Remember, I told you in active labor, it's all about rhythm. So practice it so you feel comfortable with it and you just kind of know it. Learn what is happening inside you and around you, then practice and prep. So powerful. All right, you guys. If you don't know your options, you don't have any. How many of you guys knew that was coming? Raise your hand. How many of you guys knew I was going to say that? You didn't know that by the end of this week. You haven't been hanging out with me too much. I'm loving this. All right, I want you guys all to write in the chat, I'm a birth queen. Say it. Say, I'm a birth queen. You guys know I want you participating. Yes, that's right, Kaya. I only see Kaya's name right now. Let me see if I see anybody else's. You are a birth queen. Caitlin, Angela, Sakara. I love it. Rachel. All right, you guys know Haley, Victoria, We are so passionate about you guys knowing your options. This is why I do what I do. So, of course, you know, our birth classes are opening, and I want you guys to really consider the fact that we have been telling you guys it is so important for you to know evidence-based knowledge and to have the tools so that you can have your best birth. So you are a birth queen, and I know you guys are here for a reason. There is a 100% reason you're here. It's not coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I know that everything happens for a reason. You guys found us for a reason. We want you guys to join us. We want to be your team. We want to be your support. We want to be part of your power and your community. Love these faces of my mamas. They're so powerful. Oh, there's the picture right there. That's the picture right there in the middle of Lene doing some power moves with Megan during labor. They look like they're doing a little line dance. So you guys, you know your choices. You have two choices. You can continue doing what you've been doing, scouring the internet, consulting with Dr. Google, feeling anxious and overwhelmed, like piecing it all together. Or you can 100% commit to letting us come alongside you, two doulas, a labor nurse, and a community of educated mamas who are not going to scare the bejesus out of you, not going to give you horror stories. They're going to point you in the right direction. All the way through postpartum, not just birth. Don't forget, your birth is very short. Your postpartum is long. We're going to provide you with the tools, the knowledge, and the community to help you let go of those what ifs and embrace your experience so you don't have to worry about the unknowns. Go with the choice that's going to save your time, ladies, so that you can have an empowered birth. Remember, everything I've shared with you guys is based on experience, my education, continuing education, and the work I've done with thousands of mamas so that they can have an empowered birth. You cannot trust what you find on the internet or Instagram unless it's an expert, or especially the random lady at the grocery store who wants to tell you how horrible her birth was. I do have 16 years of high-risk labor and delivery nursing from all over the country. I've been at some of the top facilities in our country, and I'm not tied to any policies, procedures, or facilities. I'm just here to lay it out for you and to support the choice that you choose. Oh, I hope you have a nurse and support like that too. So let me show you what you're going to get. And I'm going to get off here. I'm going to watch a movie with my baby. I am so pooped, y'all. I can't even believe I have a voice. So let me show you what you're going to get if you choose the Labor Nurse Mama Empowered Birth Bundle. That is a mouthful. All right, so if you choose the Calm Labor Confident Birth Path, you're going to get, they both have 9 modules. The difference between the VBAC lab and the Calm Labor Confident Birth class is the VBAC lab is infused with VBAC information. So this is catered towards a mama who has had a cesarean but wants to have a vaginal delivery. There is a difference because VBAC mamas cannot do everything that a mama who has not had a cesarean. So that is the main difference. However, you're in the same community. You have access to a lot of the same things, but we do have a different tweak to it. But you have 8 modules, including you both have a module on processing your previous births if you've had a baby. And after your birth, we walk you through processing your birth. All right. Let's see. So if you join us, and our sale is about to end, ladies, so it's going up $100. You can use the code BirthQueen, and you're going to pick your birth class. So either Calm Labor Confident Birth or the VBAC Lab, Purposeful Positioning, which is my positioning class, which is going to freaking blow your mind with all the power that's in it. The Birth Coach class, which is going to give you that support person that's educated. Our Postpartum Recovery class, and 30 Days in Calm Mama Society, which is where you're going to have your virtual labor and postpartum support with 2 doulas, a pelvic floor specialist, and your own labor and delivery nurse. And it's a total value of over $2,200. We have free workshops every week like this one, pregnancy, lactation. Tonight we have a or a baby sign language class. We have feeding classes, breastfeeding, pelvic floor. Thursday, we have a postpartum emotions, navigating postpartum emotions. It's just power packed, you guys. And we have weekly hangouts for both our pregnant mamas and our postpartum mamas. Whoop, I think that's it. That's the last one. All right, you guys, I have a little gift for you. Hold on for a second. Here is your gift. I did not put a picture on it. I totally forgot. So this is my top tips for you guys on taking pictures during your birth. I thought that would be a fun little gift for you guys, especially for my unmedicated mamas. And these are different things that I think are really cool to have a picture of. Who's joining our birth classes? Oh, yes, I love the book Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. But my favorite book is Babies Are Not Pizzas. They're not delivered, they're born. Haley, she joined today. I'm so excited. Anybody else join today or join this week? I know Kaya joined the membership. We are so excited. We have a really awesome workshop tonight. We have a workshop on Thursday. I think I put a workshop. I want to say we've got a workshop next week. We've got a ton. Yay! I can't see your name, but welcome. Love it. Make sure you guys join. The $100 off is getting ready to be gone. Oh, I love that. You can send us an email, info@labornursemama.com, and we can talk. We do offer, you can pay with your HSA or your FSA, or we have PayPal credit that you can do 6 payments of 34. But we do have some scholarships. So if you want to send us an email, info@labornursemama.com, we can chat. Wow, I got through this quick, you guys. Aren't y'all proud of me? Lord. And we have another workshop on Thursday. Anybody have any questions? Any questions about the classes? You're welcome. I can't wait to get to know all of you guys. We have a hangout tomorrow. I think Lene, one of our doulas, is doing the hangout tomorrow night because this girl is exhausted. All right, let me put the birth class code back up. You guys want to join the class? I think I'm going to take a nap. I'm supposed to watch a movie with Grayson. Hey, so tired. I put the little, the thank you gift up here in the corner. So you can see it up there in the corner. Make sure you use the code BirthQueen to join. Oop, that is not supposed to say the quick. Let me get rid of that. All right, you guys. Anybody have any more questions before we hop off? Yes, if you go into labor early, you can, or if they tell you that you're in preterm labor, you absolutely can, Daylan. 100%. 100%. All right, you guys. If nobody has any questions, I'm going to hop off and go snuggle with my little guy. I told him I'd watch a movie. Thank you, Ashley. You are too. Remember, we only have a couple more days and then the classes are going back up to $297. Oh, okay. Yes, you more than welcome. How many weeks are you? I'm going to look and see how many weeks you are. Remember, you guys, work on those mindsets. 34. Yeah, keep us posted. And you can always send me a private DM as well if you have any questions about that, or post as well. I want you guys to write your I am statements. Okay? Write out those I am statements. All right, you guys, have a great day. Make sure you join the classes. We want to get to know you. Have a fantastic day. See you later.